I'm a professor in curriculum instruction, world language education, as well as languages and cultures. And this led me to develop a concept of deeper education to challenge shallow learning that was prevailing. I'd like to start with an anecdote. I know somebody who applied for a university. The university didn't want to keep more than half of the students after the first semester of eliminatory courses in statistics and research methods and experimental methods, taught the old way by untrained TAs. He went very deep into learning about the rationale behind the choice of statistics, but it was not part of the exams. And at the exams, he had multiple choice tests implying rote learning of the content in a manual. And that was a form of a stupid way of teaching research and methods and stats. And just to tell you, I'm doing qualitative research, but I'm doing also quantitative. I've had advanced statistics, and I gave courses in advanced statistics as much as advanced qualitative methods. I noticed the syllabi were not up to it. And then he failed the intermediate exam. He thought he had such high expectations, he felt destroyed, demolished. It was a life disaster. And a life disaster because of a system that is not really supporting the student, that is targeting the well-being, well-functioning of the system, rather than supporting the lives of human beings. And that's specifically why I launched the concept of a deeper approach to knowledge, a deeper, wiser way of teaching and studying and learning, and more free ways to enhance knowledge and wisdom in the academia. That led to a concept of deep education that, happily enough, was felt relevant by the US Department of Education. So I got a big grant for 4 years to prove that it works. And so from 2009 to 2012, we did research in most Ivy League and Big Ten universities. In several programs, we had to train the teachers to free the students from the constraints of the existing curriculum that was imposed by coordinators of the programs, giving some authority to the teachers and to the students to become curriculum builders. And so that was a big change in the academia, which is a bit fossilized by all kinds of traditions and old ways of doing, and mostly focuses on control and standardization. I would say even robotization of the mind programming, that everybody should know by heart the selected knowledge, the official knowledge. At some point, we noticed a decrease in creativity at all levels in the US schools, middle schools, high schools, and colleges. The result of standardization, the result of making sure everybody knows the core knowledge by heart, transformed the system from a system that could blossom into, discovering who we are as a learner and expanding our potential into a system of indoctrination. I'm going to give you a brief intro to the concept of depth. What is deep? Deep is connected to life wisdom, is connected to life, is connected to the world, to the earth, to the planet, to the needs in our planet. And so there is a deep approach. There is a concept of deep education. Currently, students are taught to test, which defines surface learning. In schools, colleges, at all levels, we have to provide a deep learning, deeper forms of wisdom, mainly because we are facing environment destruction, global needs that require a new form of education. How do we deal with hunger? How do we deal with the existing problems of humanity? Actually, learning is effective when it leads to world improvement and it stimulates the motivation of the students. The big question is, can educators like you, like me, continue doing business as usual when the planet is on fire? You see everywhere these huge problems. We need to solve undernutrition. We face the problem of overpopulation. we need to emphasize the subjective achievement over the acquisition of object. Subjectivity has been neglected, and we need subjective growth as well. We need to maintain biodiversity, cultures diversity, linguistic diversity. And actually what we find today is the social bonds have disappeared. It's kind of the social contract that is being dissolved, accompanied with moral values, and education are kind of dismantled to automatic systems. In a sense also, we witness the same issues with health. In big pharma is more interested in profit than curing people. How do we respect civil rights in the different places where we live? How can we reduce institutional pressure and the loss of liberties, establish social justice, and reconstruct the middle class? You may know that normally if you have a normal repetition of classes, the middle class is the 20% in the middle. Currently in the US, in terms of salary, it has become the 7%. And so currently we see this smashing of classes, we see the need for reconstructing the social contract, we see constant violations of human rights, and we also need to prevent war and the risks of a third world war. If you consider these elements, what's the definition of deep education? Deep education is an attempt that reconnects the universities and schools to a concept of wisdom. And a deep approach to higher education is immersive, is learner-centered. That means the learner could choose not only their courses, they could build their programs together. It's technology-rich, project-based, and it's transdisciplinary. You're a biologist, you're an engineer, you're a linguist, you're an early childhood specialist. And among all these varieties of disciplines, there are some connections. These connections are interdisciplinary. There are some cross-sections between, say, music and math, and between engineering, biology, and so on and so forth. These intersections, the interdisciplinary level, are different from what would be called a transdiscipline. The transdiscipline is permeating all the disciplines, is beyond. It's the connection to life, the connection to the world, it's connection to our planet, to the planet Earth, to humanity. And it's the connection to philosophy and wisdom. All these elements are kind of lacking in our current system of education. I developed a model enlarged to any discipline because it's transdisciplinary in nature. Learners who come to study in a school setting or in an academic setting want to develop their own identity. The element that is so surprising often is that the university tends to ignore the students' wishes because they can choose courses often, all courses are dictated for them, then they can ignore the nature of their aspirations. But actually, research on motivation shows that you are not really intrinsically motivated to do anything in the field of knowledge unless you feel a connection with your life project. It's as if all of us had a self-project. You'll be motivated and I'll be motivated in learning new stuff if I feel there is a connection between my life project and the content or the knowledge that I'm acquiring. Most often, this link between the self-project and the academic project is not done, and it should be basic in a deeper education. All of us need to fulfill our desires through what we learn. Otherwise, what are we doing? This is the rationale for the model I developed, in which everybody should have access to knowledge, be able to choose to select themselves what projects they want to work on, and have voice, have presence, be considered as worthwhile contributors to the system. I started brainstorming. If I continue to try to resist against the system, it will lead nowhere. or not much, and it may take years and years. Rather, I would prefer building something entirely new besides. And actually, it was very appealing to more than 50 professors in different countries who followed this trend and said, we want to join and we want to create something different. For example, when it came to teaching culture and languages, what we created were modules from which the students could choose. They could choose the order of the module, they could choose to drop some modules, to create their own modules, and there would be lots of material that is life materials. You see there are videos, there are PDFs, there are texts, there are online guidance, there are all kinds of resources, and the students choose what they want to do with their peers and create self-oriented projects. That's the main issue. Working on life and world-related topics, because they are transdisciplinary, within open programs in which there is a negotiation. That means some students would be able to gather together. For example, I met with an association of friends, and they have conferences on friendship, and I told them, if you find 20 friends, we could carve for you a master in friendship. You could decide what you want to do. Do you want a course on the sociology of friendship, the psychology of friendship, the philosophy of friendship, research on friendship? All these courses could be possible within a format which leads to a master's in friendship. And of course, here we are kind of struggling against the constraints of the system, because if we want accreditation, then we will need to go through the screen and selection of the accreditation model. But maybe if we open up deep education masters, you could have between brackets friendship, provide an abundance of topics and topic-related resources, content-rich website and books, having groups of discussion, synchronous reflection also, and a forum of discussion. You could work on the beach, you could work anywhere, doing things the way you like.